Hey guys, I'm Chris with BustedKnuckleDIY, and today I'm going to show you how to install a whole house water filter. Let's get wrenching. Oh hell, I can fix that. Honey, can you bring me a Band-Aid, please? Alright guys, before we get started, I thought I would go over the supplies and the tools that we're going to be using today. So let's start with the filter. This is a two-stage Blue Onyx whole house water filter. So the input side's over here. It's going to use a sediment filter here, and then it has a carbon micron filter, and then the output. So we've got to connect it to the plumbing in the house. Okay, we're going to be using PEX B pipe. It's not a hot water line. They didn't have blue in the shorter sections. All they have was red in 3/4. So anyway, bear with me there. So we'll have red pipe instead of blue, even though it's a cold water line, but that's okay. I won't tell if you guys don't. All right, so the fittings, obviously we've got these two large 1 inch to 3/4 PEX input fittings that are going to screw into either side of the filter. All right, to connect it to the plumbing in the house, I've got these Sharkbite Elbows. I have two of these. Now these are good for CPVC, which is what my plumbing is. It's 3/4 CPVC. They will connect 3/4 CPVC, PEX, or copper. And I'll show you guys how to set up the pipe properly to connect in. So we're going to use these to connect into the CPVC plumbing. Okay, it's going to run up our wall board that I'll show you there, and we have a variety of other fittings. Okay, we've got 3 ball valves, and the reason we're doing 3 is so I can build a bypass into the system to isolate this in case something ever breaks or when I need to service it or blah blah. I don't have to shut the water down to the whole house. Going up after our bypass, I've got these 2 fittings. These are also 3/4 Sharkbites, and they have pressure gauges in them. So I'm going to have a pressure gauge on each side, 1 inlet, 1 outlet, to show me how much pressure I'm getting in and out. So ideally, I can simply open up the door and take a glance at the outbound side and see if that pressure is lower considerably than the inbound side, that my filters are kind of clogged and I need to go ahead and change them. And then I've got a couple of 3/4 T fittings, some elbows, the cinch rings that we use for PEX, the cinch tool. This is a Sharkbite depth / deburring tool. If you're gonna be using Sharkbite fittings, get this tool, guys. It's only like 10 bucks. It covers just about every common size from like 1/4 through 1 inch. Again, we're gonna be using 3/4 today. I've got a cutter to cut the pipe with, and of course I've got some plumber's tape that we're gonna use on our fittings in here. So anyway, let's get started. All right, so our screw-in fittings, we Teflon taped up, and this is really good stuff, guys. I'm going to recommend it. Hopefully it focuses well. They call this Mega Tape. It is considerably thicker and heavier than standard plumber's tape, and I really, really like it. I've never had a leak using this product, so definitely invest. It's only $1 more than the cheap crap, so get this. So I've cut a couple of pieces of my PEX pipe off, and the way PEX works, guys, is pretty simple. So we're going to take one of our fittings here, and you're going to push it up on there just like that. Okay, not too difficult. All right, and we have these cinch rings. Now, the thing about the cinch rings, and I cannot stress this enough, you want to cut your pipe nice and square so that it fits flat against your fitting. And these cinch rings, guys, are really, really easy. Put them on there. You want to make sure they're square, and you want to leave a minimum of 1/8 distance between the edge of the pipe and the front edge of the fitting. If you run it all the way up, it's likely it'll leak. If you go too far out, it'll leak. So you want to leave 1/8. The maximum is 1/4. So what we're going to do is open up our crimp tool and put the edge of the crimp ring in there. And trying to do this on camera is a little difficult here. All right, but we want to get our 1/8 gap. Whoops, I'm slipping out of my pliers here. So we put the end of that nubbin in there. We want to get our 1/8 gap, and at this point, guys, you got to kind of man up on it. All right, once we've got it started, There we go. Ratchet it all the way down until it holds like that. And that's on there forever. It's not going anywhere. So we'll slap another cinch ring up on there because we'll forget. Because now we're going to do an elbow out here so we can turn everything down. There we go. Same deal. Open the plier tool all the way up. Put the head of the cinch ring in it. Make sure it seats all the way. Whoops. Once you get it started, set that 1/8 gap, and then cinch it down, and there you have it. Now the great thing about PEX fittings like this is you can actually rotate them inside, so even though that's sealed tight and it's not ever going to leak, we can still turn it if we need to on their side. So I'm going to go ahead and get the one on the other side, and then we're going to move into the utility room and get this bad boy on the wall and start some pretty serious plumbing here. All right, sorry about the noise. My air conditioner's running. Pretty warm today. All right, so here is our main water shutoff. Now, it cranks around this way. I've already turned it off. Okay, and if there's any sense to the way this thing is made, this side is the in, and that side is the out, okay, going back down into the house. Now, on the back side of the wall, in the utility closet, we've opened the wall up where we can get to those pipes. And anyway, we're going to test that theory in a pretty clever way to make sure that we're cutting into the right side, because I want my filter on the output side of the water main. All right, again, guys, sorry about the noise. I'm going to try to speak up. You can see we've cut the sheetrock out to about 6 foot tall. Okay, here's the box where the water main is on the other side. So again, if there's any logic to the way they routed this plumbing, this should be our input side and this should be our output. Okay, on that side of the valve. So now I've been running the cold water for a while, and I drained the system out. And in theory, the pipe that still has the cold water in it should be colder in a few minutes anyway than the pipe that is empty. So let's use our digital thermometer and hit these pipes and see what it says. That one says 65.6. That one says 64.2. All right, so I'm going to give it just a couple of more minutes to let the temperature even out again on the empty pipe. But it feels like actually they may have done it opposite of what I was thinking, and that this one may be the outfeed, which is fine. That'll give us a little more room when we're working with our board here. So anyway, we're going to give it a few minutes, and we'll thermal check those again and see if we can't isolate which one of these pipes is the empty one and which one still has cold water in it. All right, so this one's showing 65.2, 66.6. So this is going to be our empty pipe. So I drilled a small hole in it there. Didn't get too much water coming out, just a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and cut that and install two 3/4 CPVC elbows that are going to come through our board that we put up here. So that way we can connect our PEX plumbing to this, and we'll be good to go. So let me get that cut out and those fittings on, and we'll proceed. All right, guys, again, sorry for the noise. Air conditioner, like I said, it's warm today. You can see here I put elbows in this and then a piece sticking straight out. And the reason I did that is I've got this great edge-glued pine board that's going to go up over top of this whole thing, and these pipes are going to fit through it. So that way I can keep an eye on my push-to-connect fittings. You know, in case I ever need to remove them or service them or anything like that, they'll be outside of the wall structure. So I'm going to go ahead and get that board put up, and then we'll keep rolling. All right, guys, you can see we've got our backing board up here, and I've got our Sharkbites on those 3/4 CPVC fittings. And now I'm going to show you why this tool is absolutely so valuable. So I've cut myself a length of pipe here. We're going to take and find the 3/4 hole on the tool, put this in, give it a good push, and twist it a few times, and hopefully you can see it on camera. It cuts a little chamfer on there to help things go along. It also serves as a depth gauge for how far you should be inserting that pipe into your Sharkbite fitting. So this is really important, this little chamfer, because there's an O-ring in here, guys, and if you don't put the chamfer on there and you damage the O-ring, it will leak. So absolutely, if you're going to be working with push-to-connect fitting, Sharkbites, get that tool. So anyway, once you've done that, and there we go. That's in there. You can see it's all the way up to the line. We'll go ahead and do this other one. Again, we put our chamfer on there. And there we go, those are in. And the great thing about the Sharkbites is they will rotate after you put them on. That doesn't hurt anything, so long as you didn't damage the O-ring, it won't leak on you. All right, so I'm gonna get a couple of elbows on here so we can start running up, put our bypass in, our pressure gauges, and then get the filter on. So when I come back, there's gonna be a little more work done. But the process is exactly like I showed you earlier with the cinch fittings and the PEX B, various fittings that I've got here. So let's get to work. All right, guys, so we finished our install. So here's the in-feed pipe. Comes up and hits this elbow, hits this T, okay? And we have an on-off valve right here, so we would do on, allowing the water to flow up to our pressure gauge on the inlet side, up to the elbow, into the filter. Out of the filter, down we go to our outbound pressure gauge. Our outbound valve, again, I have it in the off position. There we go. Now that's on. And then back into the system. So, now in the event that I need to isolate the system, that's what this one's for. I can turn, this is currently off. So, I can turn it on and then shut both of these off. And what happens, the water will come in, point of least resistance, hit this, go through, and then around. So, I said our flow will come like this if I need to bypass, and that will completely isolate the filter system from the house. So, anyway, we're going to go ahead and get some filters in it and pressurize it and make sure we don't have any leaks. All right, guys, all the valves are in the off position, so we're going to go ahead and turn the inlet valve on here. And you can see our filter is filling up. And I've got some faucets on. I can hear the hissing in the bathroom. We're pushing the air out of the lines. So our inlet pressure is just under 50 psi. Our outlet pressure is also just under 50 psi. Water's flowing through the filter great. All right, I wanted to come to a faucet that did not have a filter on it. So, a nice clear glass here. Let that set just for a second. As you can see, guys, that is beautifully clear. And let's see. Tastes fantastic too. So, yeah. Super pleased with our Blue Onyx 2-stage filter. Yeah, guys, and that's how you cut into your plumbing and install a 2-stage water filter on your house. So, again, you can see the water that I poured out of the sink is beautifully clear. Tastes great, and so now we don't have to worry about sediment and other contaminants in our water here at the house, whereas we're on a well. Yeah, hopefully Guys, the video helped you out with the techniques involved in cutting into your plumbing, using the various types of fittings, whether they be push to connect, like the Sharkbite fittings, or PEX B plumbing. There is also PEX A, but that's a whole nother video at a whole nother time. This was PEX B, and how to go about cutting those pipes and cinching them up properly so that they don't leak. Installing pressure filters, the idea of a bypass on your whole house filter, and yeah, so hopefully you learned a few things. Guys, if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button. Give us that thumbs up, as it really helps us out. We can always use all those we can get. Hit us up in the comments and in the description box below. I'll leave links to the Facebook page and our email address if you want to drop us a line. Guys, till next time, this is Chris for Busted Knuckle DIY saying, keep wrenching.